You're talking about the centrifuges. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything unless they have the material. They don't have. We follow the material. That's where the action is, and we'll be hitting that area probably pretty soon.
Iran says it has drawn a red line, and any U.S. strike on its nuclear sites will come with consequences far beyond Iran's borders. Tehran is warning Washington that attacking its nuclear facilities could ignite a much wider regional war. Iran says America's regional allies will also become targets if the conflict enters a new phase. As President Trump threatens new military action, Iran has issued one of its strongest wartime warnings yet. Iran says any strike on its strategic nuclear facilities will fundamentally change the course of the conflict. Iran's Khatam al-Anbiya central headquarters has issued a stern warning to the United States as the conflict enters its 11th day. The military headquarters says any American strike on Iran's nuclear facilities will trigger a much broader regional war. Iran's Khatam al-Anbiya central headquarters statement read, and I quote, "The criminal America threatened to attack Iran's nuclear and sensitive facilities. It is announced that should the terrorist army of that country enter such a phase, all interests of America, its allies, and the supporters of that rogue and evil country will be targeted by a powerful assault from Iran's armed forces." Unquote. The warning came shortly after President Donald Trump suggested the United States could launch strikes against Iran's Pickaxe Mountain nuclear complex.
Do you believe that Iran has moved nuclear centrifuges into Pickaxe Mountain? And when you say we're not done yet, what is left to finish?
Well, I think that they may have. We don't have it on record. All we do is read the fake news. You know, we see the news is so wrong so many times. So, you know, maybe this one they have right, but it's okay. It doesn't mean anything unless they have the material. You're talking about the centrifuges. Yeah, it doesn't mean anything unless they have the material. They don't have. We follow the material. That's where the action is, and we'll be hitting that area probably pretty soon. And there's not a thing they can do about it. You know, normally I wouldn't say that. If I thought they could do something about it, I would never say that. But we'll be hitting that area pretty soon, and very heavily. I'll be going to Dover for something that I feel it's a great honor for me to do it. These are people that want it, and they feel like I do, that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Very simple. It's a very simple dictum. They cannot have a nuclear weapon, and they won't have. They're not going to. They have no chance of having a nuclear weapon. And as far as Iran is concerned, I'll let Pete maybe say a couple of words, but we are doing very well. We are degrading them at levels that nobody thought was possible. They're being degraded really so seriously. They did slip something through in Jordan, and if we had other operators, you know, would not happened, unfortunately. But because we have the best equipment in the world, you know, we've stopped almost everything. But when you let other people do your job, with the United States, we let other people do the job, and sometimes it doesn't work out so well. But we're going to be going and paying our respects at Dover. Pete, would you like to say just how we're doing, generally speaking?
Well, it'll be an honor as well to join you at Dover to recognize these incredible Americans who committed to the cause just like you are. Something no president's been willing to do. 47 years, they build up a conventional capability like the North Koreans did. Remember, that's how North Korea made their way to a bomb. So much weaponry that no one was willing to stand up to them. President Trump was, and he continues to this day. Iran's been given every opportunity to negotiate, to show that they're reasonable on the Strait of Hormuz. But if they're going to shoot at commercial shipping, then we're going to hit them, as the president said, 10 times harder.
Tehran warned that U.S. military bases and countries supporting Washington across West Asia could become legitimate targets. Iran says any strike on its nuclear infrastructure would mark an entirely new phase of the conflict. The U.S. military has identified the third service member confirmed killed in the recent Iranian attacks linked to the Jordan front. The Pentagon has confirmed another American military fatality, marking a new milestone in the escalating conflict with Iran. With the latest confirmation, the number of American service members reported killed in the conflict has now climbed to 18. Iran's expanding missile and drone campaign is proving increasingly deadly for U.S. forces operating across the Middle East. President Donald Trump also addressed the latest casualties in a post on Truth Social, acknowledging the growing cost of the conflict. Despite mounting casualties, President Trump has ordered an 11th consecutive night of strikes against targets inside Iran. U.S. Central Command statement read, and I quote, "CENTCOM forces began striking military targets in Iran at 7 p.m. Eastern Time today for the 11th consecutive night. The strikes are designed to continue degrading Iran's ability to threaten commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz." At 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time on July 21st, U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, successfully completed the 11th consecutive evening of strikes against Iran. CENTCOM assets targeted Iranian military operation centers, maritime capabilities, aircraft hangars, drone storage facilities, and military logistics infrastructure to further degrade Iran's ability to threaten commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Over the past 3 months, Iran has attacked more than 30 commercial vessels transiting the international waterway vital for regional and global trade. The unwarranted attacks have endangered hundreds of innocent mariners and undermined freedom of navigation. Despite Iranian aggression, the Strait of Hormuz remains open for commercial vessel transit. Since early May, CENTCOM forces have helped facilitate the transit of approximately 900 commercial vessels and 450 million barrels of crude oil. Unquote. American forces continue striking military targets across Iran as Washington presses ahead with its expanding air campaign. U.S. officials say the strikes are designed to weaken Iran's ability to threaten shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Military command centers, drone facilities, and logistics sites remain at the center of the latest American offensive. Iranian air defense systems were activated once again as another wave of U.S. strikes unfolded overnight. Residents in northeastern Tehran reported renewed air defense fire as explosions echoed across the capital. Fresh explosions were also reported in Bandar Abbas as strikes continued near the Strait of Hormuz. Sirik was shaken once again as new blasts echoed across southern Iran during the latest round of attacks. Overnight explosions were also reported in Tabriz, Chabahar, and Kangavar as the conflict spread across multiple regions. Mahajah has now joined the growing list of Iranian cities affected by the expanding U.S. air campaign. Explosions continue to ripple across multiple Iranian cities as both sides intensify military operations. Iran's air defense network remains on high alert, responding repeatedly to incoming strikes. The conflict has now entered its 11th consecutive night, with no visible signs of de-escalation. Washington says it will maintain relentless military pressure until Iran's operational capabilities are significantly reduced. The Strait of Hormuz remains at the heart of the conflict, with both sides treating the strategic waterway as a critical battlefield.